I mean, the only thing more embarrassing and horrible than, finding out your spouse is cheating on you is finding out with the rest of the world. So it was brutal. I was cringing, and I can't believe I've now seen it 600 times.
Oh, look at these two. All right, either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Chris Martin issues a warning to fans about the kiss cam following the viral footage of the Astronomer CEO.
They had like the kiss cam kind of thing that goes around that zeroed in on this one couple.
They don't even get caught if they're just both at the concert together. They only get caught because they're openly canoodling at the concert. It betrays a lack of respect for any sort of judgment, but also for a basic value system.
The CEO of a billion-dollar business is in damage control after his affair with a colleague was exposed, of all places, on KissCam.
Now, a US tech company boss has been suspended. That's after a viral video appeared to show him hugging a woman at a Coldplay concert. Astronomer says that its chief executive, Andy Byron, has been put on leave, although the company stopped short of confirming if he is the one captured in the footage. The video, which appears to show Byron embracing the company's HR director, was shown on a giant screen at the concert in Boston.
Coldplay threw a couple on the kiss cam. Turns out they were having an affair? I don't think even Coldplay can fix this.
I feel like this isn't a good way, and if you're gonna get caught cheating, it shouldn't be like this.
Well, maybe he should have thought of that before he was cheating.
KissCam is known for its heartwarming moments, but it caught an awkward one at a Coldplay concert. It zoomed in on a couple cuddling, but internet sleuths were quick to work out why they didn't want to be seen.
Don't cheat on your wife. That makes you a scumbag. Let's just start there, full stop. But if you want to be a retarded scumbag, then you can go cheat on your wife at a concert where you're liable to be put on a massive camera in front of everyone, tens of thousands of people here in Boston, watching this.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. I'm not quite sure.
That's a Coldplay concert, and it is the most viral clip on the internet.
If you're gonna have an affair, why would you bring her to a concert in public where everybody can see you? What if you even ran into someone you knew? Who cares about the Jumbotron? What if you ran into someone you knew? Huh?
Forget the Epstein files. I want to see the text messages of that astronomer CEO that got caught cheating at the Coldplay concert.
I would pay to be a fly on the wall in the office.
This is pretty viral stuff. Or do we have to get HR involved? I mean, I know that HR was involved.
The moral of the story here is don't get caught on KissCam. And the tidbit is that's not his wife.
And can we talk about the employee that was with them? She obviously knows what's going on because she's there.
But apparently this couple will not be fans of Coldplay for long.
So the update is, yeah, Andy Byron and Kristin Cabot are done. They've reportedly called it quits. But what's actually happening now is way more layered, because it's not just they broke up. It's Kristin without her ring. It's Meghan erasing Andy's last name. It's a rumored Meghan statement that's gone completely viral. And it's a company still recovering from the most public HR scandal of the year. And look, we've already broken down the July 16th Coldplay moment. What this is the aftermath. People inside Astronomer are still talking. Kristin's LinkedIn is wiped, Andy's gone silent, and the families, one's in hiding, the other's reportedly in free fall. And now people are asking, was this breakup really about guilt, or was it just strategy? So yeah, we're gonna break it all down. No recap, no fluff, just the real-time fallout that's still spiraling. So here's what people need to understand. This breakup, it's not just an end-of-the-affair moment. It's a controlled implosion. A quiet statement slipped through a so-called close source saying, Andy and Kristin will not continue. That's the wording. Not emotional, not romantic, strategic. And honestly, it sounds less like heartbreak and more like a joint PR agreement. Because let's be real, after what happened at the Coldplay concert, there was no world where they could continue like nothing happened. Andy's career, vaporized, Kristin's position, gone. Both of them resigned. And now, with two families caught in the crossfire, continuing this affair would have just turned a bad headline into a full-blown scandal legacy. But here's the twist. People aren't buying the breakup at face value. A lot of commenters online are calling it performative, like, oh, now you're sorry? After a 9-month affair that went public in the worst way possible? Some think it's only ending because the internet won't let it slide. Others think they're still together, just hiding it better. And let's not ignore the theory that their partners, Meghan and Andrew, pushed legal action behind the scenes. Meanwhile, the timing is suspicious. Just days after that Coldplay moment hits peak virality, the "we're ending it" narrative appears. No press release, no video statement, just whispers to reporters and a hope that the internet moves on. But of course, it didn't. And you know what's wild? The same people who were caught cuddling on a jumbotron now want privacy. The same duo who made headlines across platforms now want to vanish like it didn't happen. And that's the irony here. They didn't just get exposed, they became the headline.
Days after Andy Byron was seen dodging cameras at a Coldplay concert when a jumbotron showed him closely hugging a woman, leading to the tech executive resigning from his post, Kris seemingly addresses the viral moment during the band's latest tour stop on July 19.
And in the eyes of the public, the breakup isn't closure. It's just a clean exit strategy. Now this is where everything shifted. Because while Andy and Kristin were busy going silent, something else surfaced. And it didn't come from a press team. It was a written message claimed to be from Meghan Byron, Andy's now estranged wife. And whether it's confirmed or not, this thing exploded across social media in hours. The letter was raw, not polished, no branding, just heartbreak in text form. She said, "I never imagined my husband would betray me." Then she goes on to say that every time Andy told her he had to stay late for work, he wasn't working, he was with someone else. With her. And that Coldplay clip, that wasn't just some awkward moment on a jumbotron. It was the exact second her world fell apart. And that line, he said he was doing this for our family, but our family is the one thing he broke. That hit people hard. That one sentence has now been reposted more times than the original kiss cam footage. People are using it in TikTok captions, reaction videos, even merch drops. Whether or not Meghan wrote it herself, that quote became the heart of the backlash. Because here's the thing, once that letter made rounds, public sympathy completely flipped. This stopped being about office drama or scandal gossip. It turned into a betrayal story, a family story. And audiences suddenly weren't laughing at the memes. They were angry. They were protective. Some people say the statement was too perfect, like it was crafted for impact. Others argue it sounds too emotional not to be real. But verified or not, the damage is done. Andy's image, destroyed. Kristin's? Almost worse. Because remember, she was the head of HR, the one responsible for workplace conduct. And this wasn't just a policy violation. It was personal, messy, and public.
As the singer tells the crowd before the kiss cam starts, per concert footage, "We'd like to say hello to some of you in the crowd. How we're going to do that is we're going to use our cameras and put some of you on the big screen."
And right when you think the public can't dig deeper, that's when Kristin gets spotted out in public, and her left hand says everything. So here's where things get even more transparent without a single word being spoken. Kristin Cabot, former HR chief at Astronomer, the same woman seen with Andy on the Coldplay kiss cam, was spotted outside her home in Rye, New Hampshire. No press, no interview, no comment. But people noticed one thing instantly: her wedding ring was gone. And look, people say don't read too much into that, but let's not pretend this wasn't deliberate. The moment those photos leaked, they blew up on Reddit. TikTok sleuths were zooming in. Headlines followed fast. Kristin Cabot, married to a private equity CEO and heir to a legacy rum company, now photographed solo, barehanded, in her garden, avoiding eye contact. And it wasn't just the ring, it was the energy. Gone was the executive image, no boardroom, no blazer. Just a woman in her backyard, clearly dealing with the fallout of a very public scandal. Her husband, Andrew Cabot, still hasn't said a single word, but reports say he was overseas on a business trip to Japan when the Coldplay video dropped. That's right, the man was out of the country when the entire internet discovered his wife was allegedly involved in a months-long affair. People close to the family say Andrew was blindsided. Some believe he found out like the rest of us, via the kiss cam. Others claim he knew something was off months ago. But one thing's clear, his silence is making a statement of its own. And Kristin's response? Silence. No statement. No apology. Just that ring finger speaking volumes. And people are watching. Because when someone in HR, whose literal job is enforcing boundaries and professionalism, ends up at the center of a scandal like this?
Kris jokingly adds, quote, "So please, if you haven't done your makeup, do your makeup now." And in case you missed the viral moment Kris is referencing, on July 16th, a clip posted to social media showed former astronomer CEO Andy Byron with his arms wrapped around a woman enjoying the UK band's tour stop in Massachusetts.
It's not just personal, it's institutional. It becomes a case study. And it doesn't stop there. Because while Kristin is keeping quiet, Andy Byron, he's basically vanished. Like, literally disappeared off the grid. So here's where the cover-up becomes crystal clear. Andy Byron didn't just go silent. He vanished. Like, full wipe. His LinkedIn? Gone. His Instagram? Deactivated. His Twitter X? Either deleted or scrubbed beyond recognition. No bio, no trace, no updates. And this didn't happen slowly. It was fast, calculated, like someone trying to erase their entire digital footprint overnight. And it's not just Andy. Kristin's LinkedIn is now blank. Her corporate profile, removed from Astronomer's leadership page within 72 hours of the Coldplay moment. No farewell post, no moving on to new adventures. Just gone, like she never worked there. And for two people who used to show up on conference panels and startup podcasts, the silence is louder than anything they could have said. But the most telling move? Megan Byron, Andy's wife, dropping his last name across all platforms. Not a single angry tweet, not a messy Instagram rant, just clean, sharp edits. Her display name changed, bio updated, all photos with Andy either archived or deleted. The kind of digital surgery that tells you exactly how over it she is, without saying a word. Now some people are calling this a textbook example of controlled digital fallout. Like, clear the timelines, reset the profiles, and try to let the algorithm bury the story. But it's 2025. The internet doesn't forget. And the more they scrub, the more people start screenshotting everything they missed. And it's not just random fans doing the digging. Former coworkers, HR bloggers, and even startup investors have started chiming in. People want to know how a CEO and an HR chief thought this could stay hidden.
However, as soon as the pair noticed their faces on the big screen, Byron quickly ducked out of frame while the woman covered her face, seemingly embarrassed, causing Kris to jokingly call out the couple.
Oh, look at these two. Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Especially when they were caught at a sold-out Coldplay concert in front of 60,000 people and a live camera feed. The social media silence, it's not cooling the fire, it's fueling it. Because now people are asking, if they're deleting this much online, what else is being hidden offline? What people forget is that this wasn't just a relationship scandal, it was a workplace disaster. Andy Byron wasn't just some guy having an affair. He was the CEO. Kristin Cabot wasn't just another exec. She was the chief people officer, the one in charge of employee conduct, HR policies, ethics. So when their Coldplay moment went viral, it wasn't just embarrassing, it was damning. Astronomer, the data pipeline company they both led, had no choice but to act fast. Andy stepped down almost immediately. No press conference, no apology, just a quiet resignation with interim CEO Pete DeJoy stepping in. Kristin followed a few days later. Her resignation didn't even get a company statement. 1 minute she was there, the next scrubbed from the org chart. And then came the Gwyneth Paltrow move. Yes, that Gwyneth. The company bizarrely hired her, Chris Martin's ex, as part of a tongue-in-cheek corporate campaign. A cheeky ad on LinkedIn that basically said, "We're in on the joke." Some people thought it was clever. Most thought it was tone-deaf. Investors, not laughing. There were whispers about board-level panic, calls with PR firms, and even internal audits. Because when the people responsible for enforcing company values are the ones breaking them, that's not just bad optics, it's liability. And inside the company, morale reportedly tanked. Several astronomer employees anonymously posted that the mood was tense, with trust shattered and leadership credibility gone. HR teams had to run emergency sessions. Engineers started quietly updating resumes. People were questioning how long this had really been going on, and whether others at the top knew and said nothing. So while Astronomer tries to pivot, new CEO, new policies, maybe even a full rebrand, the real damage was never just about two people being caught. It was about who got caught, where they got caught, and how long they thought they could get away with it. But believe it or not, the worst part isn't even the professional collapse. It's what this scandal revealed about power, trust, and how far people will go to protect their own image. Let's talk about the real hypocrisy next. Because what happens when the enforcers become the violators, that's where it gets dark. So here's the part that hit people differently. It wasn't just the affair, it was who was involved. Because yeah, the Coldplay kiss cam made it messy.
And after the moment made headlines, Astronomer announced it launched a formal investigation into the matter, which ultimately led with Byron resigning from his role on July 19.
The social media silence made it suspicious. But what made it infuriating for a lot of people? The power imbalance, the positions they held, the rules they broke. Andy Byron was the CEO. Kristin Cabot was the chief people officer. And not just any HR head. She was known for speaking at panels, writing about workplace integrity, posting about trust and leadership, literally built her brand on accountability. And the exact policies she was meant to enforce, she broke them. And let's not pretend this was some gray area workplace friendship. According to insider reports, this was a 9-month relationship happening behind closed doors, while both were still married, and while they were signing off on company-wide ethics policies. People started digging up Kristin's old LinkedIn posts, like the one where she said, "I win trust with CEOs." That quote, it aged like milk. It went viral again, but this time as a punchline. Reddit threads called it HR irony at its finest. TikTokers clipped it into meme formats. And suddenly, what should have been a private scandal became a full-blown ethics discussion. Because it's not just about poor judgment, it's about abusing the system you're supposed to uphold. The same HR handbook employees are forced to sign, Kristin helped write it. The same code of conduct Andy demanded his team follow, he ignored it for months. This scandal didn't just expose a relationship, it exposed a pattern where people in power thought they were untouchable. And once they got caught, they didn't apologize. They vanished, they deleted, they distanced, but the internet doesn't let hypocrisy walk away clean. And now the question isn't just what happened, it's how many people knew and let it slide. And speaking of the internet, not only is it still watching, but it's digging deeper than ever. In the next part, we're going to unpack how the online response is keeping this story alive, long after the Coldplay spotlight faded. If Andy and Kristin thought going silent would kill the story, they underestimated the internet. Big time. Because what's happening now isn't just gossip, it's a full-on digital forensic deep dive. People online are tracking every move, every ringless hand, every deleted profile like it's a crime scene. And honestly, it kind of is. Reddit has entire threads dedicated to the fallout. They're screenshotting Kristin's scrubbed LinkedIn profile, pulling archived versions of Andy's company bio, and even matching timestamps from past events to map the timeline of the affair. TikTok, still flooded with reactions. Some are dramatic reenactments. Others, deadpan breakdowns of corporate policy, ethics violations, and the absolute audacity of it all. One clip of Megan Byron's alleged quote, "He told me he was working. He was with her," has been used in over 2,000 TikToks already, and that number keeps climbing.
I think that the actual star of this story, though, is Chris Martin, who decides, given an opportunity here, to let these people off the hook and just let the camera move along, to suggest explicitly that these people are either having an affair. I mean, seriously? You just throw the fans under the bus who paid their hard-earned money for these tickets?
Well, good call from the lead man there, because it turns out that they were, in fact, probably having an affair.
The audio's been set to Coldplay music. The irony is not lost on anyone. And Twitter, or X now? That's where the memes live. HR's new relationship training video captions a clip of the kiss cam. One viral post even joked that Astronomer should pivot to becoming a reality show, because clearly the drama writes itself. But it's not just internet drama, it's accountability in real time. Because when corporations try to quietly sweep scandals under the rug, the online crowd often becomes the only form of transparency. People don't forget, they archive, they amplify. And now, this has moved from being just a scandal to being a symbol of corporate hypocrisy, of power being unchecked, of the two-tiered system inside companies, where the top can do what they want until they get caught. This isn't just the fallout from an affair. It's a case study in what happens when the wrong people are in charge of writing the rules and breaking them. And yet somehow, this still might not be the end. Because there's still one more piece, the families. The personal wreckage behind the viral headlines. And the quiet unraveling that no camera caught, but everyone's feeling. Let's close with that. At the center of all this viral noise, there are two families. Both shattered in real time, both dragged into the spotlight without warning. And for all the screenshots, for all the commentary, that's the part that really sticks with people. Andy Byron's family, gone quiet. Megan, his wife, didn't need to give an interview. She let her actions speak. Name change, wiped socials, total removal. And while some people online are still debating whether that viral statement was really from her, the emotion behind it is what hit people hardest. It wasn't just a husband betraying a wife. It was a father jeopardizing his entire household. And Megan? She's the one left holding the pieces. Then there's Kristin Cabot's side. Her husband, Andrew Cabot, CEO, legacy name, family business. Reports say he was in Japan on a work trip when the Coldplay footage dropped. Imagine that. Getting blindsided by your spouse's affair while you're in another country, only to come home and find your name trending with hers. No public comment, no clarification, just silence. And a $1.6 million home in Rye that suddenly became the quiet epicenter of one of the year's loudest scandals. Neighbors say Kristin's barely been seen. When she has, no ring, no smile, just a woman in her yard, avoiding the lens, probably wishing none of it ever happened. And while the headlines move fast, this part doesn't. The personal part lingers. Because careers might recover, companies rebrand, and public memory fades, but family damage, that stays. And maybe that's why this story hit as hard as it did. Not just because of who got caught, but how they got caught, and who paid the price for it. So yeah, the affair is over. But the story? Still unfolding. Quietly, painfully, in houses we can't see and inboxes we'll never read. And maybe that's the final twist. The Coldplay clip went viral in seconds. But what broke behind it? That's going to take a lot longer to heal.